Hello everyone, let's answer number 29 for Math 2A in 9.1.3b, guided practice. So here, Henry is stopped 3 miles east of his house and knows that by now Emerson must be less than 2 miles away. Write and solve an absolute value inequality for Emerson's possible position. Graph your solution on a number line. Do they make sense in the context of this situation? So first we try to make our number line. This is our 0, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. That's our positive 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. And then here 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. That's negative 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, negative 10. So again, our 0 is our home. Henry's home. So here, Henry is stopped 3 miles east of his house. So going to the east is on the right. So 1, 2, 3. At 3, Henry was stopped. Okay, so let's try to put it higher there. So this is the position of Henry. Now, by now, Emerson must be less than 2 miles away. So when you say less than 2 miles away, you count 1 from here, 3, 1, 2, less than 2. So not equal to 2, but less than 2. So from 1, 2, from number 3 coordinates, we go to the right. Because we don't know where Emerson is, it could be on the left or on the right of Henry. So going to the right, away from Henry, that would be this until here, 2. So at least less than 2 will be from here going to the left, going to Henry. This space or this distance will be less than 2. But if you are on the left side, at 1, so 1, 2, this could also be Emerson's position. So this is the first position for Emerson at coordinate 5, and then going to the left, that will be less. And then also if Emerson is coming from the left side of Henry, so that is in at 1 coordinate, going to the right side, so from here up to here, that would be less than 1. So from 1 going to the left. So that would be our position. Now, how do we write our absolute value inequality? So we know that the absolute value inequality is less than 2. So less than 2 miles. And we know that 3 is the permanent position, a constant position for Henry. So the distance between this is Emerson minus 3. So E minus 3, or another one would be 3 minus Emerson from here is less than 2. So we have two possible inequality, absolute value inequality expression. So how do we answer this? First, if the inside of the inequality, inside of the absolute value is greater than 0, we write E minus 3 is greater than 0 or positive. We know that E minus 3, replacing this to equal sign, that's the first rule in solving inequality. Okay, and then we transpose negative 3 on the right side, it becomes positive 3. So we are left with E on the left side, therefore E is equal to 5. So that's our first answer. Okay, also if another one, if E minus 3 is less than 0 or negative, okay, so we know that this is negative, therefore we write E minus 3 is multiplied by negative 1 or negative, and we replace this by equal sign is equal to 2. Now applying the distributive property, so this is negative E, and this we multiply becomes positive 3 is equal to 2. Again, we transpose positive 3 on the left side, on the right side, it becomes negative, so 2 minus 3, and the left side will be negative e. So negative e is equal to 2 minus 3 is negative 1. We multiply the whole equation by negative 1 so that we can cancel this e. That's negative here, and e becomes positive, and negative 1 times negative 1 is positive 1. So this is the second value. As you can see, that would be e is equal to 5 and e is equal to 1. Okay, another one will be if your expression is e minus 3 minus e, so it should be also the same. So 3 minus e, if that is greater than 0 or positive, okay, so 3 minus e will not change the sign because it's positive. We change this to equal sign is equal to 2, and then we transpose positive 3 on the right side, it becomes negative, so 2 minus 3, negative e is equal to negative 1. Again, we multiply this by negative 1 both sides, so we can cancel this negative sign, so e will become positive. Negative 1 times negative 1 is positive 1, and therefore that's our first answer here. And then 3 minus e is less than 0 or negative. Okay, so we multiply negative 3 minus e by negative 1 because it's negative. We change this to equal sign 2. We apply distributive property. We multiply negative 3 times 3 is negative 3. I mean negative 1 times 3 is negative 3. Negative 1 times negative e is positive e. It's equal to 2. We transpose negative 3 to the right side, it becomes positive, so 2 plus 3. And then we bring down e. And then e is equal to 5. So as you can see, the two possible answers are just the same. Okay, and we are occupying this because these are the less than equation. Now for number 30, I'll bring this up a little bit. Now that you have practiced writing and solving equations and inequalities with absolute value, use your knowledge from the beginning of this chapter to consider the inequality x minus 2 is greater than 3. Can you use the process from the problem in 9.24 to solve this inequality? How is it different from solving x minus 2 is equal to 3? So actually it's almost the same. Okay, if you are to really think about the answers. Okay, so in here, how do we solve this? So first we know that this 2 can be positive or negative. So we write x minus 2 is greater than 0 or positive. Okay, they are almost the same because how do we solve this? We change this to equal sign. So this will be changed to equal sign. So x minus 2 is equal to 3. And then we move 2 to the right side. It becomes 3 plus 2. And then we are left with x on the right side. So x is equal to 5. So again, we put our coordinate, our number line, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. And then 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, negative 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, negative 10. So our home is at 0. This is Henry's home. Okay, and then we know that the initial one is at 5. Okay, and there's no equal sign, so this is open. If x minus 2 now is less than 0 or negative, so we have negative 1 times x minus 2, change that to equal sign 3, and then we apply distributive property. We multiply negative 1 times x, negative 1 times negative 2 is positive 2 is equal to 3. And then we move this to the right side, becomes negative. And then we are left with negative x. So negative x is equal to 3 minus 2 is 1. Multiply this by negative 1. So we can remove the negative sign. We are left with x is equal to negative 1. So the other one will be somewhere here, negative 1. So this is the initial boundary point. Now, how do we check our boundary point? So if this is our initial, since there's no equal sign, it's an open point, we try to use the, let's say, negative 2. We check or test x is equal to negative 2. We know that if negative 2 is part of the solution, so test x is equal to negative 2. Apply it here. We have negative 2 minus 2. Absolute value is greater than 3. This will be negative 4. Absolute value is greater than 3. What is the absolute value of negative 4? That's 4 is equal to, is greater than 3. Is that true? Yes, 4 is greater than 3. Therefore, this is part of the solution. Okay, what about from negative 1 to 5? In the middle is 0. We test x is equal to 0. Okay, so that would be 0 minus 2 is greater than 3. Negative 2, absolute value is greater than 3. Is 2 greater than 3? This is false. Therefore, we don't have a solution here. And the last part will be, let's say 6 on the right side. Let's test x is equal to 6. So absolute value of 6 minus 2 is greater than 3. 6 minus 2 is 4. Absolute value of 4 is 4. Therefore, it's true. And therefore, the answer will be on the right side. Therefore, the correct answer, the final answer for our expression is x is greater than 5, but less than negative 1. So this is the exact answer for number 30. Now for letter B, in here, how was solving? How do we answer this? How is solving x minus 2 is greater than 3 different from solving an inequality without absolute value, such as 2x plus 7 is less than 12? Actually, they are not different. The first step is to change your inequality to equal sign. So first step is to change inequality to equation and solve for the boundary points. Okay, after solving for the boundary points, you need to test points on each region to identify the part of the solution. So like what we did. So they are actually not different on how do we solve. The steps are the same. Testing the boundary points are also the same. So That would be the answer for letter B. I hope that helps. The next video will solve for number 31 on the next video.